Damage 365 Radio with your host Kevin Nasta and John Torrey.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control. And if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can play it, it's all about pain. Who's gonna make
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Damage 365 Radio, episode number 29. I'm your host, Coach Kev, along with the real number 8, JT, who's in the house, as always. As always, we have a wonderful show in store for you today. As we recover from our Halloween Havoc party last night, we will bring you the best of the best of the best. And it's always the best. Something that was probably not the best was our effort yesterday in our Fall Ball recap, which will be our final Fall Ball recap, as the Nightmares fell to the Grips in a double-header sweep in round 1. With that, it ended the Nightmares season, one and done. So we will not have any immediate softball updates till at least January, unless something hot and juicy hits the hot stove.
No heart, no hustle.
So we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks, as it's now the official off-season of Damage Athletics softball, as we head into 2014, looking, of course, for the quest, the drive for number 5, and we'll see who joins this team and who will be added to the roster, along with the players that remain from last season. And we mentioned a couple weeks ago, and I count them 3 former Damage players looking to re-sign with Damage Athletics that are right now in negotiations with the general manager's office, looking to sign back on with Damage Athletics in 2014, and not one of these 3 players played with Damage in 2013. So sink your teeth into that juicy hot stove report.
There's something juicy for everybody.
There is, and one thing that wasn't juicy was the effort yesterday. So
No, that was bad.
season was fun, and ladies and gentlemen, pardon me is not feeling well today and a little congested, but thank you very much. Right now, we want to get into our shout-out segments, and we really only have one to shout out, and that goes to one of my great friends that I grew up with, Damage alumni and Hall of Famer, Christy Polk Nidell. Happy birthday, Christy, and her birthday is officially the 30th of October, so we didn't have any significant birthdays to report, but
It's got to be a cool birthday.
yeah, and funny thing is that her dad, Norval Polk, his birthday's the day after on Halloween. So I guess we can say shout out, happy birthday to Norval Polk, the dad of Hall of Famer Christy.
Yeah.
So a good day for the Polk family. That 30th and 31st of October. Happy birthday to the both of you guys. We are going to get into our managers tournament results, and let's get to that right now. Okay, as we reported, Captain Lou Albano took on Charmel, and Captain Lou Albano was victorious. Lord Alfred Hayes defeated Guerrero. So it's Captain Lou and Lord Alfred Hayes. Mr. Fuji knocked off Sonny Ono, and the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, knocked off the Slickster. So Mr. Fuji versus Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Hart.
Classics.
Bobby Heenan, as expected, knocked off Deborah, and Miss Elizabeth knocked off the Grand Wizard. Grand Wizard, did you know that the Grand Wizard was one of the first managers of Hulk Hogan?
Really?
Hulk Hogan started his career as a heel. Many people don't know that because it happened prior to the 1980s. His very first manager was the Grand Wizard, and his very first manager when he was in the WWE was Classy Freddie Blassie.
Well, this was a little before my time.
So it'll be Bobby Heenan versus Miss Elizabeth. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, knocked off Buck Robley, and he advances. And it's Terry Runnels knocking off Bill Alfonso. So the $1 Million Man versus Terry Runnels. Moving on. Paul Ellering, always known as the manager of the Road Warriors, knocked off Lita. And it was Sable knocking off Michael P.S. Hayes. So Paul Ellering versus Sable. Virgil knocking off Sonny. So Virgil, another day in the spotlight. And he will take on the winner of Frenchie Martin and Paul Heyman. It was Paul Heyman.
Obviously.
Paul Heyman will take on Virgil in the next round. In a classic female chaperone, aka manager bracket, AJ Lee, the current Divas champion, took on Cyndi Lauper, who led Wendy Richter to the World Wrestling Federation's Women's Championship back in WrestleMania, the first one. So it was Cyndi Lauper knocking off AJ Lee. And she will take on a very, very tough competitor in a very, very tough round right here. As Don Duffy was knocked off by Sensational Sherry.
She is sensational.
Sensational
Always.
Sherry against Cyndi Lauper. We've seen this before. Paul Bearer knocks off the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Rest in peace, Nature Boy. Because Paul Bearer is moving on, and he will take on Stephanie McMahon Helmsley, who knocked off... Oh, no, I'm sorry.
She was knocked off.
She was knocked off. I'm getting a little blurry-eyed, but J.J. Dillon knocked off Mrs. Triple H.
It's about time someone knocked her off.
Exactly. She must have woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
So it's Paul Bearer against J.J. Dillon. Sensational Sherry against Cyndi Lauper. Virgil versus Paul Heyman. Paul Ellering versus Sable. $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase against Terry Reynolds. And Bobby Heenan versus Miss Elizabeth. Mr. Fuji against Jimmy Hart in an 80s classic. And Captain Lou Albano against Lord Alfred Hayes. As we get into the Elite Eight.
Who's your pick to win this?
You gotta go with Bobby Heenan.
I gotta go with Paul Heyman.
I mean, it's possible. It could come down to...
I am a Paul Heyman guy.
It also could come down to Miss Elizabeth or Sensational Sherry. Two very, very popular and very accomplished female wrestlers in not only the WWE, but also in WCW. And
it could be anybody right now.
So, and speaking about WCW, we're gonna have a segment later today where we're gonna discuss a little WCW news, and we'd like to get into that because tonight we got sorry guys, tonight we have Hell in a Cell. So it's really hard doing a show before pay-per-view because, we want to give our predictions, and then we have to wait an entire week because we're not going to be able to do a Tuesday show. So we would want to wait an entire week to recap the show. So, people are going to have to be patient with us.
They can be patient with us.
Yeah.
Who do you got? Who do you got winning the title tonight?
The world title or the WWE title?
WWE title.
WWE title. I'm gonna go with I'm probably gonna go with Daniel Bryan. I'm gonna have to go with
Me
that.
too.
But,
It would be about time.
Speaking about Daniel Bryan and people that revere the beard, we'd like to welcome in Nick into the show. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
Not bad, not bad.
Very well.
We were just gonna get into our pre Hell in the Cell segment before we welcome in the Sarge. It's a hard pay-per-view to feel out. They made a little changes last minute. The pre-show has been changed. We have Kofi Kingston taking on Damian Sandow now, and the Big E Langston Curtis Axel Intercontinental Championship match has been axed, no pun intended.
Yeah, I heard that earlier. Kind of disappointed because I was actually looking forward to that match. I felt like it was going to be a very good match, but I don't know if Axel's actually hurt, if it's part of the storyline. I hope it's part of the storyline, and I hope we get to see that match tomorrow on Raw, hopefully.
I mean, it could be a Paul Heyman kind of scam to get Axel to hold on to the title a little longer, or maybe it's Heyman's way of saying that my guys don't fight pre-shows. We get paid to fight under the spotlight. We don't fight on YouTube. We fight on pay-per-views. All this could unravel tonight or even tomorrow, especially with the rumors that Vince McMahon is returning. So we'll see what happens, and we're gonna little by little we're gonna unravel this and unravel the coming of WCW. But I ask you to hold 1 second because we're gonna welcome in our next guest. Just give me a second right there.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event here tonight. Andre, the Giant. WrestleMania!
Hulkamania is running wild.
My God, what a
So we officially have entered our wrestling segment. As you heard JR say, this is what the world is watching. And right now, this is what the world is listening to. Again, we got Nick on the line. And Nick has been with us for a couple weeks now, consecutively, to give us his insight. And right now, we'd like to welcome in the Sarge. All right, we'd like to welcome the Sarge into the show. Sarge, how you doing?
What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on? I mean, we haven't heard from you in a while. We got Nick on the line as well. Nick, you still with us?
Yep, I'm still here, guys. How you doing, Sarge?
All right, awesome.
Hey, what's up?
We actually got some audio to work out for a change.
About time.
Finally.
Go us! Woohoo!
Yeah.
All right, we got some questions we'd like to and pardon my voice. I've been sick for a couple of days now, and between yelling at people at work and softball and throwing my Halloween Havoc party last night, it's been a little scratchy.
You've got a Halloween hangover.
Got the Halloween Havoc hangovers.
Wow.
Okay, question. We're gonna go with Sarge first, and we'll get a little rebuttal from Nick. We've discussed this earlier a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it might have been last week with Nick, that the AJ Lee CM Punk thing that's going on about if they're an item or not. Another picture was posted today. They both left O'Hara Airport in Chicago and arrived in Miami together. There was a picture of them together in the airport. It wasn't like a cutesy picture, but you can see they were engaging in conversation. They could have, for all we know, taken two different flights. Who knows what's going on? But there's a lot of rumors. What is your opinion, Sarge, on this with this whole CM Punk, AJ Lee, Lita triangle?
Well, I'm going to kill all rumors because, as you guys know, I am in the business. I've been in the business for a long time. And I'm going to definitely kill this rumor. AJ and CM Punk are dating. They have been talking for a long time. And they just want to keep it on the down low for a while. And within the next, I'd say, beginning of next year, everybody's going to find out the real truth.
Whew. So how do you feel about that, Nick?
I mean, again, Sarge is in the business, so he would know better than a lot of people. I still personally feel that it's just they're in the business together. They travel together. Everybody in the WWE, they have their close friends who they travel with on to every event. And I feel like AJ's just that close friend to CM Punk, who he travels with. Lita isn't part of the WWE. She was in the past. She isn't right now. So I mean, feel like he just
right now, I guess it's just something that we're gonna have to wait and find out and see what unravels. Whether they use this as a storyline or if they use this as just real life, or maybe they both come out and say, no, you know, this is not, you know, we just travel together, we're good friends, you know, we got close back in the day, you know, when AJ Lee was CM Punk's chaperone, and, you know.
That's just what they want you to think.
Who knows? I mean, who knows what Vince McMahon allows them to even let out of the bag.
Well, you guys can understand, AJ and CM Punk have been traveling. They've been long friends for a long time because they worked together on ROH, Ring of Honor. They worked in I believe in the Midwest and down south.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. You know, when people work together a long period of time, they get close and things happen. But, you know, again, only time will tell. Only them two know the truth, and only them two will allow us to know the truth. Anything else, I guess, is kind of speculation unless you hear them say it out of their own mouth, or if it comes out of Lita's mouth. You know, again, I don't want to make too much of a big deal of it because people travel all the time. I mean, I posted on a page earlier today when someone posted the picture. I said, look, you know, guys travel, girls travel all the time together. They're professionals. They're workmates. And, you know, back in the 80s, driving home from the Nassau Coliseum, Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan were pulled over on the Long Island Expressway for speeding. And it was all over the newspaper, you know, how these guys just fought each other at the show, and here they are driving together. And, you know, Vince McMahon tried to hide it with these guys don't get paid a lot, they got a carpool, they put their personal feelings aside to save money, blah, 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 blah. But we all know when you work together, you get close, things happen. You travel together, you get close, things happen. So, again, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Everybody online just copy and pastes everything, and it just gets very aggravating because you got these people just don't know what they're talking about. They have no sources. They don't quote any sources. You know, at least we quote our source. Our source calls. He identifies who he is and what he does. He doesn't hide.
Exactly.
He doesn't hide behind a Facebook page.
What's the big deal anyway if they're dating?
Because everybody wants to know what happened to Lita.
Who cares? You got
I-
AJ Lee.
They're in the spotlight so much, but at the same time, these people want to keep their private lives private. They want to keep their work stuff in work on TV, and it's very hard to keep your private life
It's impossible.
secret when you're a famous athlete like that.
Yeah, when you're in show business, nothing's private.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the.
Well, everything's going to change. I mean, all the wrestlers have been talking about it, and there's talks right now of getting cameras behind the scenes of private lives of wrestling families, on the roads, traveling in the car, a van, a bus. You guys are, within the next 6 months, you guys are going to see what takes place behind the scenes of a professional wrestler's career and life on the road.
And that makes
yeah.
sense, especially with Total Divas coming out, and you really getting to see. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of scripted stuff, but you also get to see a lot of backstage stuff as well on that show.
Yep.
Yep, and you know, don't forget the movie The Wrestler. I mean, you saw a lot of that as well, what these guys put their body through just to make a paycheck, you know, because they live such a high-class life that when the money's not there anymore and they're just doing it for the, you know, paycheck to paycheck, you know, they're still the same guy even though they're 50 years old. You know, you look at guys like Ric Flair and guys like Hogan who, you know, still say they'd fight that one more match. We all think they're nuts, but they might be doing it for other reasons that we don't understand because we're not, you know, well, us excluding the Sarge are not in the business.
Exactly. Everybody needs to make a paycheck, and when all you've done is wrestle and all you know your entire life is wrestling, then that's the way that you're going to make that one paycheck that you might need.
Yeah, I agree. And
why not?
Let me give you a little insider on a wrestler's life, real quick.
Okay.
I did an independent wrestling movie, and trust me, when I did that movie, and I seen the movie when it came out, trust me, I was shocked myself because not only it was my first ever match as a professional wrestler, but I only made $25. I'm looking at myself, I'm like, are you kidding me? I get inside that ring, and I beat myself up for $25.
It doesn't even pay for the gas to get to the arena.
Exactly. And it's just the love of the profession. You gotta love the profession, and you got to love entertaining people sitting in those seats. You make those people laugh and smile, you're gonna make them laugh and smile for the rest of the week.
No, it's true, and you know, we'll touch on that. Hopefully, we got a little time at the end. We'll touch a little bit more on the, you know, wrestling in general. I visited the WWE site a little earlier, and we mentioned that Big E Langston and Curtis Axel was pulled due to a so-called Curtis Axel injury. They were replaced by Kofi Kingston and Damian Sandow. One, is anybody even going to bother watching this match? It means nothing. It's for nothing. I mean, if it was for the Money in the Bank contract, maybe people would watch it. But why not Dean Ambrose versus somebody for the U.S. title?
Dean Ambrose isn't even on the card to begin with, and that's where it gets kind of confusing because he holds the title. He is one of the best technical wrestlers, young technical wrestlers in the business right now, and it really doesn't make any sense throwing Sandow versus Kofi, no feud whatsoever, and then you're just going to leave Dean Ambrose hanging he's in a big storyline with the corporation and all of that, so it just doesn't make sense having him sit around.
It's true, and he's in a side, and then the Shield themselves are in a side kind of storyline. When Sarge told us that Seth Rollins might be defecting to WCW, so that affects the Shield as a whole as well. And I just don't understand how you have his title and you don't defend it on a pay-per-view. And once again, I feel this is a failure of WWE not giving themselves enough time to hype a pay-per-view, because it was only 3 weeks ago the last pay-per-view.
Exactly.
I just don't understand that you can't, and the other thing is, like, I read that they want to go to 14 pay-per-views next year.
Yeah, that's the plan right now, and there's 2 in June that are set up as well.
I'm like, are you on crack? I'm like, really? You're bitching now that you're not making any money and people are asking for refunds. Now you're going to add to? You can add by subtracting. You can add fans. You can add money. Get rid of 4 pay-per-views. Go to a pay-per-view every 3 months.
I kind of did the math, and I feel like 9 pay-per-views would be a very good amount, because you got to look at it this way. Royal Rumble is a set. I still do like the Elimination Chamber. WrestleMania, obviously.
Yep.
I would skip Extreme Rules completely. It's pointless.
Yeah.
Bring back King of the Ring in June. Possibly even have the winner of King of the Ring get a title shot at SummerSlam, maybe. Something along those lines.
Okay.
Then you go with Money in the Bank in July, SummerSlam in August, and then you're going into, I would still keep Hell in the Cell. It's a good pay-per-view. Then Survivor Series, and then keep TLC in December.
Apparently we lost Sarge, so we'll hold on and get him back on the line. He suffered from cellular phonitis. And one of the things I said that I would like to see is them get rid of Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Keep the match, though. And you can use that match in any pay-per-view. Okay, that'll be a draw right there. Okay, that's one. Okay, move SummerSlam, keep SummerSlam where they are. As the Sarge rejoins us, Sarge, you suffered from a little cellulitis right there.
Yeah.
We were saying that, I was saying that I would like to you got SummerSlam, and you throw Bash at the Beach right after SummerSlam. That gives you a nice, strong spring-summer pay-per-view right there. Then you move down, you do Halloween Havoc in October, followed by the Survivor Series. Get rid of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, get rid of Night of Champions. But don't get rid of the Hell in a Cell match. Keep it somewhere. And also, incorporate War Games as a match in one of these pay-per-views. Okay? This is all, again, providing that Shane McMahon doesn't come back with WCW, because he owns all the rights to those pay-per-view names, to all those matches and everything else. So, obviously, if he comes back with WCW, this is all moot and just sounds really cool. But if he doesn't, I don't understand how we're not thinking long-term WWE, where, look, you got pay-per-views that nobody watches. They just flat-out suck. They flopped. Like Night of the Champions just flopped. Get rid of it. Nobody wants to see it. You got, 6 champions, 5 champions, and you're only showing those matches plus one non-title match. Nobody wants to see it.
They just want their money back.
They want to see.
And you also got to look at it this past Night of Champions. The IC title wasn't even announced. It was just randomly thrown on as the pay-per-view started.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you got these creative minds that are hired by former wrestlers, and they basically chirp in the ear of these You think these creative designers, these creative minds are actually getting a chance to actually create? I think they're heavily influenced by the powers to be.
And at the same time, you also got to look at it. They're hiring the people who have been used to writing soap operas and this and that. And don't get me wrong, there is a soap opera vibe involved in some of professional wrestling.
Yeah, man,
but at the same time, you need to bring in some older wrestlers who know how the business works. Guys like Paul Heyman, Zeb Coulter, who do a little bit of writing as well. They need to bring in those guys to write full time. And the turnaround would be astronomical in that sense.
Sarge, how do you feel about that?
I believe the same way. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard, and because I've been in the wrestling. The thing of it is, WWE doesn't have any competition. Yeah. So what they're getting a little greedy. They don't know where the storylines are going. They're trying chances, and basically, they are coming back with the war games. They're going to modify it though.
Okay. I mean, that was a very, very creative match. I mean, I thought it was really cool. I was having this conversation, I think it was last night we were talking, and, I was just saying, anybody can sit here and pick the pay-per-views that they don't watch and the pay-per-views that have flopped, and you can eliminate those, okay? WWE survived with 4 pay-per-views a year at one time, okay? At one time, 4 freaking pay-per-views, and once in a while there was that 5th one, like this Tuesday in Texas. You remember that one where Macho Man came back to fight Jake the Snake Roberts?
I remember that, wow.
So, I mean, once in a while they threw you a bone for, a nice unexpected $50 pay-per-view event. But now it's just like every month is a pay-per-view. The storylines don't change much because there's no build time. How much storyline and how much hype can you build in 3.5 weeks? Nothing.
I really couldn't agree more, because if you think about it, the time between some pay-per-views is like 3 weeks.
This one is.
How are you supposed to build a feud between 2 people with maybe 5 shows? 6 shows. You think about like SmackDown and Raw, and that's about it.
Because their philosophy is that they wrestle on Raw, they wrestle on Wednesdays, they wrestle on SmackDown, and the power of the internet, which is Twitter and YouTube, where these guys can talk smack to each other, and within their entertainment, and they think the fans are going to eat it all up. Here's CM Punk and Paul Heyman talking smack to each other on Twitter. Oh, Paul Heyman just put something on Tout. Oh, CM Punk just put something on YouTube. Oh, they've been talking smack in promos on SmackDown, Raw, and Superstars, and blah 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 blah. And all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, it's the same routine over and over again. And it's a combination of not enough time to hype it and too much time where it's gone stale.
Yeah, yes it is. I agree 100%, because I definitely know the schedule. You need a storyline to go at least, you got to give them at least 8 weeks in advance just to get something happening, just to get the fans into it. The WWE and TNA wrestlers, I mean, Monday night is taping, Tuesday night is taping, that's an early taping, they start at 7, WWE. Wednesday, you're traveling night. Thursday, you start wrestling house shows. Friday's a house show. Saturday sometimes is a TV taping, but they do house shows. And Sunday's a traveling day. So they need time. They need more time, and they're not getting it.
And, again, when we go back to the days where they had 4 pay-per-views a year, and Hogan fought 6 times a year. I mean, you don't see that now. You got champions fighting 6 times a week.
Yep.
Not 6 times a day. That's why I actually thought it was very bold of CM Punk when he was the champion to say that he was a better champion than Bruno Sammartino, because Bruno Sammartino only fought once a month.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. You know what? Bruno Sammartino, not taking anything away from him, but He didn't put his body through what these wrestlers nowadays, and even ones that aren't even champions, put their bodies through nowadays.
Exactly. The thing is if you look at wrestlers from 2 decades ago, like if you go into the 80s or before that, those guys, again, like you were saying, weren't wrestling 6 days a week. It's hard to say if they would actually survive or their bodies would survive in this era.
No, yeah, I agree. Sarge, what are you going to say?
That's why the bodies are breaking down way too much now. You're getting too many injuries. I mean, it's got to slow down some. We're giving the fans way too much. We got to slow it down. We got to, pace ourselves like Ric Flair would do. He's the master behind the professional wrestler. You have to pace it. If you don't pace it, it's shot.
Not absolutely, and anybody who thinks that, oh, wrestling's fake. You know what? Beat the crap out of your body for 5 days a week. Travel for the other 2. Not see your family for maybe, let's say, 280 days a year that you're on the road, and then tell me how fake it is.
I couldn't agree with you more there. It's if you also think about it, that's why guys like Hogan, Flair, Sting, everybody like that are still wrestling to this day, or still have a match left in them per se, because they didn't travel and wrestle 5 days a week in the primes of their career.
All right. Well, since you brought up, I'm going to ask Sarge this. Since he brought up Sting and Hogan, will we see Hogan back in the WWE? Mainly WrestleMania 30. And will we ever see Sting fighting under the WWE banner?
Hogan, yes, in WWE. Sting is now having talks with World Wrestling Entertainment. So Sting is about to slow down on TNA, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I just found this out about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've heard too that he's been in negotiations, but a couple of people like JR and JBL have said kind of behind the scenes that they've been here before with Sting and nothing's gotten done. And some people actually say that, right now he's just kind of entertaining Vince McMahon, that he might retire rather than sign with the WWE and fight maybe 1 year, because everybody's going to want to push Sting and Undertaker at WrestleMania, and I think that could be set up to be the ultimate flop of a match.
Exactly, and at the same time, I really don't think that's going to happen. Even if Sting signs, the Undertaker, I don't know if anybody else has heard this, but the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar is almost a done deal at this point.
I heard that as well. It's all about Undertaker's health and if he can get himself back into shape. My problem with this is that you're not going to have the Undertaker come back for one more match against Lesnar, who he's fought in the past, and he's not going to lose to Lesnar. Lesnar's not breaking this streak.
Oh, of course that.
And if that's the case, why even bother having this match? Because you're putting the Undertaker in some serious chance of getting hurt with a guy like Brock Lesnar, who's young, strong, fast. The Undertaker kind of needs guys to carry him a little, and I don't mean physically, I mean like carry him through the match like CM Punk did. And Brock Lesnar is not that type of guy. He's a brute.
Well, Taker is going to be going to have to be the one that leads that match and works around Lesnar's instability in some way in certain things. Yes, he's a great athlete, but at this point in his career, he's not a CM Punk in the ring. He's not a Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, so on and so on.
Sarge, what do you see? Do you see the Undertaker coming back fighting Lesnar, or you think, in your opinion, should he just call it a career?
No, he's coming back for one more fight, and this fight is going to call it. But here's the thing, gentlemen. I'm listening to you guys. You guys are really smart on what's going on and hear about rumors. But here's the thing. You have Brock Lesnar. Yeah, that deal is almost done. They will fight. But here's the bone that everybody's going to throw in, or the writers or Vince will probably throw in. Remember when I told you Sting and you guys are talking about it, Sting is playing Vince and it's going back and forth. Here's the bone. Sting will get involved in that match and will cause The Undertaker the match.
I mean,
guarantee you.
I can see, I can see something like that, and maybe that's where Sting makes his debut, where he first shows up for the first time, maybe climbs out of the crowd and interferes in the match. But I think all hell would break loose if The Undertaker loses at WrestleMania and he retires. That he's not even going to follow it up with some kind of retribution match against Sting.
I know I'm probably going to get beat up for this, but how about, I don't think Sting's going to come from the audience. I think he's going to come from the rafters.
That's what I was thinking.
Coming down from the
if he's going to show up, you might as well make it a big spectacle, and I feel like that would be the greatest spectacle on the wall.
I think Vince McMahon will take he'll take a lot of heat for that.
Yeah.
Because they haven't done it since.
Exactly. They haven't done it since, I think, Owen Hart?
Yes.
And trust me, there's been a lot of talks. Vince does not like the fact of doing that stunt ever again. He doesn't like the fact. But the thing of it is, WrestleMania is his baby. WrestleMania is his moneymaker. It's the icon Sting. It's gonna be well over the top.
Maybe somehow Kane gets retribution for The Undertaker against Sting, since Kane's got a couple years left in him.
That's another match I would like to see The Undertaker go out at. If Kane Undertaker to end Undertaker's career, I feel like that would be.
To me, that's the guy that should do it.
Regardless of who wins.
To me, that's the guy that should do it. But we're speculating and as fans hoping, but we're not the one that has the almighty pen.
That's true.
Okay, little predictions and angles. Sarge, what's your feel? CM Punk versus Ryback and Heyman in the cell.
I gotta say this. I gotta go with it. I mean, it's gonna be a little sweet revenge for CM Punk.
Okay, we got your picks. I think Tuesday from you, Nick, on these, right? Okay. All right, Sarge, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton, HBK as the referee for the vacated WWE title.
Shawn Michaels screws over Daniel Bryan.
Okay. All right, that's a different angle.
I like that angle.
I heard a couple of rumors of how Daniel Bryan, HBK is going to screw over Orton, allow Daniel Bryan to win the title, and then he becomes Triple H's yes man.
Well, you got to understand, Triple H and Shawn Michaels have been blood brothers for so many years, so long time. Triple H is trying to make his forever bad future,
Yeah, no, I mean, he's trying to make his stamp on wrestling while he can.
And another thing you guys can't forget is the Big Show aspect of this match as well.
Well, he'll be involved somehow.
Yeah, he's going to be involved one way or another.
I don't think he's coming out of the rafters, though.
No.
That might tear the house down.
All right, Sarge, Alberto Del Rio versus the very quick healing John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I can't believe I'm going to say this again. Oh, God. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people love him. You can't see me. 5-finger discount, Walmart, whatever. John Cena.
Okay, now John Cena wins the match. Does Sandow leave with the title?
That's where I'm confused on. That's where a lot of wrestlers seem to think that's where he's going to make his move.
I agree with that because I don't think Cena is healthy enough to wrestle long term. I think that Alberto Del Rio is going to do some, and I put air quotes, damage to that arm. It's going to cause Sandow to come down, pin Cena, and then Cena to maybe miss a little time to finish the month or two that he should have been taking. But I think he was rushed back just for the, for the ratings and the pay-per-view stinking.
Way too quick.
Another thing. Oh, go ahead, Sarge.
It's just way too quick. I mean, that injury was not right. I mean, he did go through surgery, and it was a success. But the thing of it is, the swelling is still there. I've seen pictures already. Trust me, something's going to happen.
You got to give it the proper time to heal. You got to.
And another thing I was thinking of for this match is I've also heard possibilities of it being a disqualification. Cena wins by DQ. What if Del Rio doesn't let go of the arm breaker when Cena grabs the ropes and gets disqualified, and then Cena somehow pulls a Super Cena, throws him into AA, and then next thing you know, Sandow comes in because there have been rumors of him turning face to begin with.
Well, if it happens, I still think regardless, Sandow's going to walk out with the title. That's the one thing. So, AJ Lee versus Brie Bella for the Divas Championship.
Finally, I love this woman. This woman should be my girlfriend. No, I'm joking.
Woo! Edit that. We'll take that off.
Brie Bella deserves this belt. She's been working hard for the last couple of years. She's lost weight, and she's ready to rock. I can't wait for her to win that belt.
All right. Triple threat tag team match. Usos versus The Shield versus the tag team champions, Team Rhodes. Who leaves with the titles?
I have worked with their father for almost 8 to 10 years, and I've got inside information. I love it. I worked with their uncle. Can't wait. The Uso brothers gotta go. They got to take it.
What the hell was that?
That's all I'm going to say. I worked with their father too long.
So you say the Uso brothers are going to take it?
Uso brothers.
Uso brothers are going to take it. That'll make The Rock happy, and it'll be bittersweet for Roman Reigns, that's for sure. Los Matadores versus the Real Americans.
Tough.
I think that's a bathroom match.
This match has no bearings on nothing. Real Americans.
Okay. I was actually thinking that maybe Cesaro should swing both members of Los Matadores at the same time.
Why not all three of them?
Oh, if he gets a hold of El Torito, he might wind up in the 7th row.
Here's my thing about that. If you get to swing a 7'10" guy that weighs close to almost 450 pounds, maybe more, you swing that guy so many times, you better win the match.
That's right. Well, this could be, maybe this is where Cesaro splits from the Real Americans. Maybe something happens and Zeb Coulter turns on him. So, I mean, that's been a rumor too, that he's going to turn face. So maybe it happens tonight. Maybe it happens on Raw. You know, you get a little, they lose the match, and on Raw tomorrow they jump Cesaro. Who knows? 6 matches, 3 hours. You think any matches will be added to this pay-per-view last minute?
There might be one, and I was still trying to find out, and I lost time of talking to a couple of my buddies. They haven't figured it out yet, but I think there's going to be one match going to be thrown in there.
All right. Let's see. We have about a minute and a half left. Let's see. Will Vince McMahon return tonight, or do you think he'll return tomorrow on Raw?
Monday Night Raw, his big baby.
Okay. Is there any current status of WCW's formation?
As of right now, they're still doing contract talks with a lot of wrestlers. They're getting a lot of undercard independent wrestlers getting ready to go. So hopefully this will come quickly, sooner than later.
Okay. And what's the current status of the November 8th JCW card? Are they still ready to go rock and roll at Middlesex County?
Oh yeah. Oh, this show is going to be in Manville, New Jersey at the VFW Hall.
Well, exactly what that is. And I'll be happy to say that Damage 365 will be in attendance, and Nick will be driving down from New York to join us. So the whole team will be there to show our support to you and JCW, and hopefully get us some new followers, as we decided to make some T-shirts with our website address. And maybe it helps both parties. JCW helps us, helps you. Who knows?
There you go. That's the way to go.
All right, Sarge, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. As always, we'll talk to you real soon. Nick, thank you again. And both you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
Hey, sounds great, guys. Come on.
All right, take
Always
care,
a
guys.
pleasure, gentlemen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to the end of our show. We'd like to wish you a great week. We'll see you next Sunday as episode 29 comes to a close. Any final moments? Any final words?
All right. Let's go, Daniel Bryan.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
To take me home.